Hare Krishna. On behalf of the Brisbane community and the temple management, we would all like to welcome His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami on his annual visit to Brisbane. We're very fortunate to get a religious association because not only is he one of the most senior Vaishnava gurus in ISKCON, but also a very intimate servant. He was here with us, and so tonight we will be hearing on none other than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. It's nice to be here, to see all of you and be with you all today. It's a short visit, just for 2 days, and I was wondering, I'm coming here in the middle of the week, and how many of you I'll be able to see today. I'm very happy to see that so many of you have come. Thank you. So, the topic for today's discussion is Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes or Chaitanya Lila. So, I'll just deal with this pastime. First, I'll discuss about why Krishna came as Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then I'll get into Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Maybe today I will discuss about Krishna's pastimes up to the age of 15, and then we'll go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes after that. Let's see how much we can cover. Until what time the class is going? Anyway, like whatever. Okay, let's see. I'll try to finish by 8:30. So, why Krishna came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? I'm sure you all know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. How many of you have that understanding clear? Please raise your hand. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. Now the question is, who is Krishna? Who is Krishna? Krishna is the, yes? Okay, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna is, very good. And who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, this Supreme Personality of Godhead has also His incarnations. What are the incarnations? Incarnations are His own expansions without losing His identity and potency. That Krishna, one Krishna becomes another Krishna. He becomes another Krishna. He becomes another Krishna. This way, He expands, and these expansions are known as incarnations. Avatar. But Krishna is not an avatar. Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam, at the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, 22 incarnations of the Lord have been described. And then it has been mentioned that in this way the Lord has innumerable incarnations. And these incarnations are His parts or parts of His parts. Ete changsha, kala pungsha, these are amsa, parts, and kala means amsa's amsa, parts, part of the part, or its part. But Krishna's too Bhagavan Swayam, but Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is not an incarnation. Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Krishna is not an avatar, but Krishna is an avatari. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. He is Swayam Bhagavan. He is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that Supreme Personality of Godhead eternally resides in Vrindavan. And that Supreme Personality of Godhead is the son of Nanda Maharaj and Mother Jashoda. So that understanding we have to have, first of all, that Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that Supreme Personality of Godhead is the son of Nanda Maharaj. And he always resides in Vrindavan. Aradha Bhagavan Brajesho Tanai. That Bhagavan, that Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the son of Nanda Maharaj, the king of Braja. Brajesho Tanai. Tanai means son. Stadhama Vrindavanam. And his abode is Vrindavan. Not Mathura, not Dwarka. His abode is Vrindavan. Now, although Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita that he comes, Juge Juge, Sambhavami, Juge Juge. In every Juga, Krishna comes. He says that, he declared that he comes Juge Juge. But this original Supreme Personality of Godhead doesn't come in every Juga. The original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Swayam Bhagavan, Shri Krishna, comes once in a day of Brahma, which means once in 1000 Chaturjuga. One day of Brahma consists of 1000 Chaturjuga. And Chaturjuga means Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga put together is a Chaturjuga or a Divya Yuga. So in 1000 such Divya Yugas, Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, comes. And then he reveals his Braja Leela. That original Supreme Personality of Godhead eternally resides where? Vrindavan. So when he comes, he reveals his Vrindavan pastimes. Now the uniqueness of Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes is that in Vrindavan, Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The original Supreme Personality of Godhead, who eternally resides in Vrindavan, there in Vrindavan, he is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There he is a cowherd boy. In Vaikuntha, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But in Vrindavan, he is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? There is also another reason. Why? Because there are 5 kinds of relationships. Favorable relationships. What are those 5 kinds of favorable relationships? Who knows? Yes. Very good. Go ahead. Start with Shanta. Very good. Thank you. Santa, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhur. These are the 5 favorable relationships. There can be other unfavorable relationships, but these are favorable. Unfavorable relationship means not in a loving way, in an inimical way. There are so many people who can have the inimical relationship with Krishna, but that's not our consideration. The favorable relationships are Shanta. In Shanta Ras, a devotee meditates upon Krishna. In Dasya Ras, a devotee serves Krishna as a servant. In Sakhya Ras, a devotee treats Krishna as a friend. In Vatsalya Ras, a devotee treats Krishna as his son. And in Madhur Ras, a devotee treats Krishna as her boyfriend. So these are the 5 kinds of relationships. Now, meditating upon Krishna is alright. Treating Krishna as the Lord and Master with the attitude of servitorship is alright. But friendship? Friendship takes place between equals. Friendship takes place between equals. Now who can become equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Okay, at least in friendship one becomes equal to God, but in parental one becomes superior to God, becomes God's father, God's mother. Now who can become superior to God? Is it possible to become superior to Him? No. And in conjugal one treats Krishna as a boyfriend. Now to treat God as a boyfriend, so is it possible to develop these relationships with the Supreme Personality of Godhead? As long as we remember that He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's not possible. An example can be considered in this way. The friends, they wrestle among themselves. Don't the children wrestle? Now one of the conditions of the wrestling match is that the loser has to carry the winner on his back. And sometimes in this wrestling match, Krishna loses. And the friend demands, now Krishna, you have to carry me on your back. Krishna refuses. No, I won't carry you. I didn't lose. There was a banana peel and I slipped on the banana peel. Then you jumped on me and claimed that you defeated me. That's not fair. The friend said, Krishna, after so much struggle I defeated you. Everybody here is a witness. And they saw after such a lot of struggle I defeated you, and you said that you slipped in a banana peel. Where's the banana peel here? Saying that, the friend forces his way onto Krishna's back. Now mind you, to jump onto Krishna's back means what? One had to step onto Krishna's body, then had to jump onto Krishna's shoulder, for forcing Krishna to carry. Now which devotee will ever go to the altar and put his foot on Krishna's body? Will any devotee ever dare to do that? No. Now, as a father or mother, you all know how Mother Jashoda was chasing Krishna with a stick in her hand, and then tied Krishna up in the mortar. So which devotee will ever dare to treat Krishna like that? Go to the altar and say, Krishna, I'll beat you up with this stick, or I'll tie you up with a rope. Or Nanda Maharaj says, Krishna, can you please bring my shoes? And Krishna carries his father's shoes on his head. Now, who will ever dare to order the Supreme Personality of Godhead like that? So it's not possible. But one may not be able to become equal to Krishna or superior to Krishna, but if Krishna wants, then he can become equal to his devotees. If Krishna wants, he can become subordinate to his devotees. And that is Vrindavan. Therefore, in Vrindavan, in order to enable his devotees to develop these relationships, Krishna makes them forget, makes the devotees in Vrindavan forget that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He enables them to treat him. And that's why, in that way, therefore, he has become a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. So that is the specialty of Vrindavan. Another thing is that in Vrindavan, Krishna actually made his devotees through his Yogamaya to forget, made his devotees forget that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But this forgetfulness also is a special kind of forgetfulness. Again, there are two types of forgetfulness. One type of forgetfulness is out of ignorance. Out of ignorance, one forgets something. And sometimes out of love, one also forgets. For example, the son became the president of a country. It is not that the mother doesn't know that her son has become the president, but does the mother treat the son like a president? The mother rather treats, no matter whatever the son is, the mother treats the son as a son. So this is another kind of forgetfulness which can be identified as forgetfulness out of love. It is not that they don't know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they don't care. Their attitude in whatever you may be, Krishna, you may be the Supreme Personality of Godhead or not, doesn't matter to us. All we care is that we love you and we can't stay without loving you. And that love, that intense love for Krishna becomes manifest in the form of friendship, in the form of parental, and in the form of conjugal. So this Vrindavan pastimes, the Braja Leela, where Krishna is a cowherd boy and he has relationship with his devotees in the mood of friendship, parental, and conjugal. That pastimes Krishna reveals in Vrindavan, and when he comes to this planet, he reveals that pastimes. But when does he come? How many of you remember? How often does Krishna come? Yes? Wonderful. Once in a day of Brahma. Now can you tell me how long is the day of Brahma? Okay.
1,322,000 years.
No, 1,000 Chaturjugas. And how long is one Chaturjuga?
Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali got put together.
Very good. Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali together is one Chaturjuga. And so once in a day of Brahma, Krishna comes and reveals his Braja Leela. But after, see, Braja Leela, you see how Braja Leela is so special. There Krishna is not Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the consideration is, how will anybody recognize that this Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? How will ever develop this three special loving relationship in friendship, parental and conjugal with Krishna? So after revealing this Braja Leela, Krishna considered. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, 3rd chapter, please read it carefully. It has been described why Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There it said, Jatheshto bihori Krishna kore antardhan, antardhan kori mone kore anuman. Chirokal nahi kori prema bhakti dan, bhakti bina jagoter nahi avasthan. So after revealing his Braja Leela, Krishna went back to the spiritual sky. He withdrew his pastimes. He kore antardhan. Antardhan means disappeared. After manifesting his Braja Leela, Krishna disappeared. And then he considered that I reveal my Braja Leela, I reveal this Prema Bhakti. This relationship with Krishna in Braja is based on love. Simply on love, there is no other consideration. So Krishna considered that how will anyone ever understand this Braja Leela? Therefore, Krishna came as a devotee to teach us who is that Krishna. And who is that devotee? Okay, you tell me. Yeah, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that devotee is Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So who is that devotee? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And who is Krishna? The original Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaching us? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaching us that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If somebody told him that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, do you know what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to do? Yes. He used to cover his ears and say, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, as if he heard something which is very, very offensive. So this is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was hiding his identity. But although he was hiding his identity, he could not hide it from his devotees. His devotees recognized. Just like you remember Rupa Goswami. What did Rupa Goswami say? Rupa Goswami is saying, Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. I worship this personality who is offering Krishna Prem. Now this Krishna Prem is rare for Lord Brahma. This Krishna Prem is rare for Lord Shiva. This Krishna Prem is rare even for Lakshmi Devi. So therefore Rupa Goswami is considering this personality who is giving Krishna Prem, who this can be. Do you get the point? The personality who is distributing Krishna Prem in this way, who can this be other than Krishna himself? Therefore, Rupa Goswami is saying, this personality must be Krishna himself. Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne. Unto this Krishna who has manifested himself as Krishna Chaitanya, I offer my obeisances. So that's one way of recognizing him, that he is giving Krishna Prem which is rare for even Lakshmi Devi. Lakshmi Devi told Narayan, I heard about Rasa Leela in Braja. I want to watch that. I want to enter into that pastime of yours. Narayan said, okay, then do one thing. Worship one of the gopis of Vrindavan. Lakshmi said, me, Lakshmi, worshipping anybody? How can that be? How can I stoop down to anyone else? Then Narayan said, then forget about going to Vrindavan. So she was really hurt. She was really offended. Oh, I can't go to Vrindavan, okay. So she started to perform severe austerity, very severe austerity. And as a result of that, Krishna came and said, Lakshmi, why are you performing this austerity? So she said, I want to enter into your Braja Leela. But look, Narayan said that I have to stoop down to a gopi and then only I can enter there. But I am Lakshmi, I am Narayan's eternal consort, how can I do that? So Krishna said, okay, then come and stay on my chest. And That is how Lakshmi Devi entered into Braja as the Shri Vatsya. So, on Krishna's chest. So that is how rare this Braja Prem is. Now this Braja Prem is being distributed so abundantly without any consideration of qualification. So who can that be? So this is how we get to see who Krishna is, who Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is performing his pastimes as an ordinary Brahmana boy who appeared in Navadvip. And he appeared in the family of a Brahmana as the son of Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra. And when he was a child, he was very naughty. He was very naughty. So one of the first times that we get to see, apart from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifesting different other symptoms, like for example, one day Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata heard the sound of ankle bell coming up from the bedroom. And then because there was nobody in the room, so they went into the bedroom and they saw that Nimai was lying on the bed, the baby Nimai lying on bed. And then they saw the footprints, small footprints on the room, on the floor. And those footprints were bearing the marks, auspicious marks of flag, thanda, goad that used for driving an elephant, and Sankha, the conch shell. So these marks are unique for the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they started to wonder how this mark came. Maybe the Lord deity Bal Gopal from the altar, he had come out and he had been walking, and we heard the ankle bells that are there in his foot, on his ankles, and these are the footprints. Like they didn't realize that the baby who was lying in bed was none other than Bal Gopal himself. So in this way, although they would see various indications, but they would not, they could not recognize. One of the first persons who recognized Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a traveling Brahmana. A Brahmana, there are some Brahmanas who don't stay at one place. They just travel from one place of pilgrimage to another. So that is their life. They just travel from one place of pilgrimage to another place of pilgrimage. And this Brahmana had his shaligram that he used to worship. He used to carry his shaligram, and he was just walking from one place of pilgrimage to another. And when he came to Navadvip and Jagannath Mishra saw him, he was very impressed to see this very brilliant looking Brahmana. So he invited him, please come and be my guest. So Brahmana accepted his invitation. And this Brahmana used to cook himself and offer to the Lord his shaligram. And then only he would take the prasad. So he would not even take the prasad from Jagannath Mishra's house. He himself would cook and offer to his shaligram and he was a worshipper of Bal Gopal. He was carrying Bal Gopal Shaligram. So Jagannath Mishra made all the arrangements for him to cook, and so after cooking, when he was offering the bhoga to Bal Gopal, chanting mantra, inviting him to come and take the prasad, take the offering, take the bhoga, then baby Nimai came there. Just about 4, going to 5 years old at that time. And he started to eat. And Brahmana all of a sudden, when he opened his eyes, he saw this little boy is relishing the prasad, eating that offering. So he cried out, "Oh, this boy spoiled my offering." So seeing that, hearing that, Jagannath Mishra became very upset. He was about to chastise little Nimai. The Brahmana consoled him. He said, "Little boy, what does he know? And by chastising him, what will you make him understand? He's just a little boy." So then, this is how he desisted Jagannath Mishra from chastising Nimai. And Jagannath Mishra requested him, please, this time your offering has been spoiled, so please cook again. The Brahmana said, "No, this time I offered and the offering got spoiled. It's all right. Give me some fruits. I'll just take some fruits. So many nights I don't even get, so many days I don't even get to eat anything. So I am used to it. So don't worry, today maybe the Lord doesn't want me to eat." But Jagannath Mishra insisted, and on his insistence, the Brahmana cooked again. And this time again when the Brahmana was making the offering, chanting the mantra, inviting Bal Gopal to come, then again this Nimai came and started to eat. This time Jagannath Mishra was furious. But again the Brahmana requested him not to get upset. He said, "It's all right. See, we have to accept everything as Lord's mercy. When something happens, it doesn't happen by chance. We have to accept that the Lord wants it that way." So Jagannath Mishra's request did not convince the Brahmana to cook again. But at that time, Vishwarup came back to the house. Vishwarup is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's elder brother. Extremely handsome and brilliant, as if a brilliant light was emanating from his body. The Brahmana was awestruck seeing him. And the Brahmana said, and when Vishwarup started to request him, "Please, I fall at your feet, please. It is not proper if a guest comes and remains hungry in our house. That will be very, very inauspicious for us. So please, for our sake, please cook again." So when Vishwarup requested him in this way, the Brahmana agreed to cook again. This time Jagannath Mishra and others didn't want to take any chance. They took Nimai to the neighboring house of Chandrasekhar Acharya, and from outside Jagannath Mishra bolted the door, and the ladies were attending Nimai, and Jagannath Mishra was sitting outside the door with a stick in his hand, so that this time the boy cannot go and spoil the offering again. And the ladies were joking with Nimai. Nimai, you ate the cooking of a Brahmana, who knows what is his caste? And you lost your caste by eating the food cooked by an unknown Brahmana. You see, the consideration was that the higher class Brahmana could not even eat from the lower class Brahmana. So Vedic society used to be so strict at that time. But Nimai responded, if a milkman eats the offering of a Brahmana, how can he lose his caste? Nobody could understand why Nimai was speaking. And it was late at night, maybe midnight. While they were guarding Nimai in this way, they all fell asleep. Jagannath Mishra also fell asleep. Now the Brahmana cooked for the third time and he is making the offering. Again this boy came and started to eat. When the Brahmana cried out, see, again he spoiled my offering. But this time this little boy spoke up. What kind of a person you are? You're asking me to come and eat, and when I eat, you scream like as if something has gone so wrong. Then why are you calling me to come and eat it? And then the Brahmana could recognize who this little boy was. And he saw his worshipable Bal Gopal is actually this little boy. From that time on, the Brahmana stopped traveling from place to place. He just stayed at Navadip. And every morning he used to come, have the darshan of this little boy, and then he used to begin his day. So this is one of the first times when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed his identity to someone as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As I was saying, Nimai, as a child, was very, very naughty. Very naughty. But at the same time, he was very brilliant. When he was 6 years old, just crossed his 5, and he was sent to the teacher's school, Gangadas Pandit, a very learned scholar. So he started to study in Gangadas Pandit's school called Tol. The Brahmanas used to have a handful of students, and he used to teach them. And Nimai was so brilliant, he would just hear one thing and he would remember. He would never forget. And in no time he mastered all the subjects. But at the same time, as a little child, he was extremely naughty. After he finished the school, he would go to the Ganges. On the bank of the Ganges, the little girls, the girls of his age, would be offering worship to Lord Shiva. The girls in India, young girls in India, offer worship to Lord Shiva to get a good husband. When Lord Shiva is pleased, he gives one a good husband. That's the understanding. So Nimai would go there and tell them, I know why you're worshipping Lord Shiva. But you see, Shiva is my servant. And Parvati, Durga, is my maidservant. So why worship the servant when the master is here? And the girls would say, Nimai, what are you talking? It's sheer blasphemy. Calling Lord Shiva your servant. He said, yes. Don't remain in ignorance. I'm imparting absolute knowledge to you. And so give me the offerings. And then he would say, those he will give me the offerings, that's meant for Lord Shiva, they'll get a handsome young man as the husband. And he would start describing the wonderful character of that person. And if you don't, then you'll get an old man as your husband with 7 co-wives and so many children from that. And so the girls would become very, very afraid and say, okay, Nimai, take it. Then Nimai would go to the bank of the Ganges. In the bank of the Ganges, there are 2 stairs leading to the river. One was for the women and one for the men. So Nimai would go there with his friends and change the dresses. They would keep their dry clothes on the bank, and they would go to take bath, so that after taking the bath they would dry themselves and change their clothes. And Nimai would change their clothes. The men's clothes he would take to the women's side, and women's clothes he would bring to the men's side. And when the men would come out and see that they are all women's clothes, and the women would come out and see that it's all men's clothes, and they would be completely embarrassed and completely confused what to do. So another thing Nimai used to do is when he would see the Brahmanas half submerged in the river, they're chanting the Gayatri, meditating on the Lord. And Nimai would splash water on them and tell them, look, the one that you're meditating upon, he is standing in front of you. And the Brahmanas used to think that these are all his childish pranks, and they used to be very, very upset. And sometimes when Nimai would get upset with them, when they are chanting Gayatri, he would grab them by their feet and drag them into the mid-river. And they would be worried that maybe a crocodile has got is dragging them into the mid-river. And in this way, Nimai used to perform his naughty childhood pastimes. Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai. He used to perform his naughty childhood pastimes. Then these girls used to go to Mother Sachi Mata and complain that, look, this is what Nimai has been doing to us. And Sachi Mata used to try to console them, please don't mind, I will chastise him and tell him not to do that. Then the other Brahmanas would come and also complain to Jagannath Mishra. Jagannath Mishra would get very upset. He would take a stick in his hand. He said, this boy needs some correction. He has become completely... Now the girls who complained about Nimai, when they saw Jagannath Mishra was coming, they would tell Nimai, then Nimai, your father is coming, run from here. Although they themselves complained, but they would go and tell Nimai that his father was coming to chastise him. So when Jagannath Mishra would be coming that way, then he would see Nimai is coming back from school. He has books in his hand. There's no sign as if he had gone into the river to take bath. His body was smeared with ink and dust. And Jagannath Mishra would get completely confused. He started to wonder, what's the matter? Why are they complaining? Nimai is just... And he would ask, Nimai, what have you been doing? He said, well, I was just in school, I studied this subjects, and my teacher was very pleased with me, so I'm coming home now. I'm feeling very hungry. And I'll quickly go leave my books in my house, and then go to the river, take my quick bath, and then come and take prasad. Jagannath Mishra would get completely confused. And so this is how Nimai was performing his childhood pastimes. Okay, then I will tell another incident. This time Nimai is quite grown up. He's about 16, 17 years old. He already started his own school. And he has students teaching them grammar. And at that time, one great scholar from Kashmir, he, with an intention to defeat all the scholars of India, started off from Kashmir, in North India. He went to West India, from North India, South India, Central India, East, and now he came to Navadvip, the last place. He defeated all the scholars in all other places. So he wants to now become recognized as the monarch of all the scholars of India. His name was Keshav Kashmiri. And he was so erudite, he was so brilliant that nobody stood any chance in front of him. And he actually came to Navadvip as the last place to defeat the scholars there. If he could defeat the scholars there, then he would be recognized as the greatest scholar of India. Just by hearing that Keshav Kashmiri was coming to Navadvip, the scholars of Navadvip, some of them ran away from there out of fear of being defeated, and some were hiding at home, not coming out. And Keshav Kashmiri was waiting that when these people will come, I will challenge them and I will defeat them, and then I'll become recognized as the greatest scholar. So in this way, Keshav Kashmiri is waiting for other scholars to accept his challenge. Then one day he was walking on the bank of Ganga, and he saw one brilliant looking boy, 16, 17-year-old boy, is teaching a group of students there on the bank of the river. So seeing that, Keshav Kashmiri became curious. Who is this boy, this bright looking boy? So he went and asked, who are you? So Nimai said, well, my name is Nimai, I'm the son of Jagannath Mishra. He said, oh, you are that Nimai, you are the Nimai Pandit. Pandit means scholar, Nimai the scholar. So he said, well, people out of affection, they call me a Pandit, scholar. But I am actually, you can see, I'm just a young boy. And I simply teach grammar to a handful of students. So Keshav Kashmiri then said, okay, come, let's see what's the extent of your knowledge. Nimai said, I have come across such a great personality like you. Let me take advantage of my meeting you. So he said, what do you want to hear from me? Nimai said, this Ganges is flowing here. So please describe the glory of Ganges. So Keshav Kashmiri, within 1 hour, he composed 100 verses and he started to recite one after another, glorifying Ganga. Like as if with the speed that Ganges was moving, with that speed Keshav Kashmiri kept on composing one after another shlokas describing the glory of Ganges. So he composed 100 verses there, and then he asked Nimai, so how did you like it? Nimai said, fine, excepting a few mistakes here and there. Then he said, mistake? How dare you say that? In my composition there is never any mistake. So he just chastised Nimai. Nimai silently listened. Then finally Keshav Kashmiri said, "What mistake?" Then Nimai quoted one verse. And he said, in this verse, there are 5 mistakes and 5 credits. He asked, I composed these verses with the speed of a storm. How could you remember this verse? Then Nimai said, just as by someone's mercy, one can become the greatest of scholars, a greatest of poets, Kavivar. By his mercy, one can also become a Shrutidhar, means one who remembers just by hearing. And then Nimai pointed out 5 mistakes. These are all complicated grammatical things. And one mistake can be understandable, which is quite interesting also. He described their Ganga as that Lord Shiva, the husband of Bhavani, meaning Durga, is holding the Ganges on his head. Bhavani Bharturja Shirashi Adbhuta Guna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pointed out that this you address Lord Shiva as Bhavani Bhartu. Bhavani Bhartu means the husband of Bhavani. Now the word Bhavani comes, you see in Sanskrit everyone stems from some root. So Bhavani actually means, Bhava is the name of Lord Shiva. And Bhavani means Lord Shiva's wife. Bhava's wife is Bhavani. Just as Shiva's wife is Shivani. Narayan's wife is Narayani. So similarly, Bhavani, Lord Shiva's wife, and her Bhartu means husband. So the husband of the wife of Lord Shiva. So which indicates as if Lord Shiva's wife has another husband. So this is how he pointed out 5 mistakes in Keshav Kashmir's compositions. He also showed 5 alankars or 5 credits, 5 jewels in his composition. So Keshav Kashmiri was devastated. Mind you, he came out with a desire to conquer all the scholars of India. And he did that. But finally he got defeated by a young lad. So he was completely devastated. He actually had the benediction from Saraswati that whatever he would say would be the composition of Saraswati. This is how Saraswati blessed him. And that is why he could defeat everybody, because he was blessed by Saraswati. And so he was completely devastated. He went to his residence and started to cry, chanting Saraswati's mantra. He was crying. Then Saraswati appeared to him. Keshav Kashmiri was coming, that this is how you have to humiliate me, become defeated, accept defeat from a young lad, young boy. Then Saraswati came and said, Keshav, today your learning has achieved its perfection. The personality who defeated you is none other than my Lord Himself. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So the next morning, Keshav Kashmiri went and fell at Nimai's feet and accepted him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is how time and time again we see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had been, although he is trying to hide his identity, he has become exposed to his devotees. Hare Krishna, Gaur Premanande, Hare. Does anybody have any question? Yes?
How can the mind be friend and enemy at the same time?
How can?
How can the mind be friend and enemy at the same time?
Friend and enemy. Well, he doesn't become enemy, but some people treat him as an enemy. Right? The Lord has no enemy. Now you're his friend. What about you?
No, I mean the mind.
She's saying mind.
Oh, mind.
Enemy and friend.
Oh, okay, mind can be, okay, I heard Nimai. Okay. Mind, okay. So mind can guide our thoughts, right? Doesn't it? What does the mind do? Mind thinks, right? So when the mind takes us towards Krishna or thinks about Krishna, the mind becomes our friend. And when the mind takes us away from Krishna, then the mind becomes our. So how do you want your mind to be? Friend. Very good. So become a friend of Krishna. Alright? Think of Krishna all the time. And never forget him. Okay?
Sometimes I don't forget.
Sometimes you forget. But when you forget, then remember to remember him. Okay, thank you. Yes, Janak Raj.
Maharaj, we have a firm understanding Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Original personality of Godhead is solely reserved for Krishna himself. But I was reading, I think it was Nectar of Devotion, some devotees I were reading, and it says that Krishna and Chaitanya Prabhu are the original personality of Godhead.
Yeah. So there is no difference between Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that both of them are the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. The only difference is Krishna is the energetic and Srimati Radharani is the energy, Ladini Shakti. So when energy and energetic become separate, then there Radha, energy is Radha, Ladini Shakti is Radha, manifestation, and energetic is Krishna. But when energy and energetic become one, then that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's the only difference. So there is no, otherwise there is no difference. Only thing is the energy and energetic, Radha and Krishna become one. That is Chaitanya.
Earlier you were mentioning about the 5 relationships that devotees have with Krishna. With the relationships that devotees have with Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, is that only Dasya?
Generally, yes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is worshipped in Dasya. Dasya. But this Dasya to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will lead to Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhur to Krishna. That is the thing. Serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a servant, and that will enable you to enter into Vrindavan. And when you enter into Vrindavan, the predominating relationships there are friendship, parental and conjugal. And Krishna will reward you whichever relationship he wants you to.
Thank you, Maharaj, for a nice class. My question is relating to the 5 rasas which you are mentioning. Shanta is mainly it's like meditation. But in one of the seminars I heard that from one devotee, she is mentioning that Madhavendra Puri is a desired tree in spiritual world. So whereas we, in our Gaudiya Sampradaya, we worship means from Madhavendra Puri it started all this Madhurya. So how can we understand this statement?
You see, this Madhurya was not manifest before. Generally everyone was worshipping Lakshmi Narayan in Dasya, in Vaikuntha. But Madhavendra Puri started to reveal a very special relationship with Krishna of Vrindavan in the mellow of conjugal. And that line came Madhavendra Puri to Ishwar Puri, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took initiation from him. That's why Madhavendra Puri has considered to be that the first seedling of Krishna Prema Bhakti. He is the one who first revealed it. Not quite fully, just as a seedling, just gives the impression, just 2 leaves coming out. So that is how he revealed it. Yes.
We're talking about Namo Mahavadanyaya. I'm trying to understand who is more Mahavadanyaya, Mahaprabhu and Nityananda or Lord Chaitanya? What's the difference between them?
Yeah. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Mahavadanya, but he is distributing that Krishna Prem through Nityananda Prabhu. Right? Just like the manufacturer and distributor. The manufacturer manufactures, but does he sell it does he market the product himself? No, he gives the soul selling agency. So Nityananda Prabhu is the soul selling agent of this commodity. Right? So if you want to buy it, go to Nityananda Prabhu. Okay? Yes, you had a question.
You were mentioning about Vishwambara,
Vishwarup.
So is there anything mentioned about Vishwarup? Who was he?
Yeah, he is an expansion of Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu is Balaram, and Vishwarup is an expansion of Nityananda Prabhu.
Any life about Vishwarup? Anything?
Yeah, he took sannyas at a young age, left home, and he traveled all over, and then it is said that he went to Pandharpur, Maharashtra, and he left his body in Pandharpur. Okay, thank you all very much. You have a question? Yeah, go ahead.
We know this Lord Chaitanya came as a devotee, but who as devotees, how shall we actually worship him in that form as a devotee or as a Supreme Personality?
When you're worshipping him in the altar, on the altar, we worship him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He came as a devotee, but we worship him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes, you have a question? Go ahead.
Why Krishna is not made?
Why Krishna is not?
It means why Krishna is Krishna original, why doesn't he come from somewhere?
Why Krishna is?
Why doesn't Krishna come
Why
from
Krishna
somewhere?
is not made, M-A-D?
Why is he the original?
Why is he not made?
Okay. Yeah, because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He makes everything, but nobody made him. All right. Okay, thank you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.